Welcome to the shit show. Literally the shit show. Now, just coming from the workshop, where everything just seemed to make sense. I basically stick bits of wood together. Yeah, there's skills involved and stuff, but that's all time served, But what is going on politically should really deeply concern us all. Deeply. But unfortunately, the people who put that feckin' tangerine tyrant into the Whitehouse, they haven't changed their mind. Now, I thought that maybe they would have a case of buyer's remorse. But no, I keep reading online how happy they are. Okay, some people have changed their minds. But the fact there's still a approval rating around 44% still means to me, or tells me, that there's still a whole lot of people out there with a lack of thinking. Stupid is as stupid does. It's just how it is, When you got these fucking tariffs, which are going to make your shelves empty, going to make it hard for you to get what you need to get, your choice is going to be diminished considerably. Especially the trade war that's going on between the United States and China, let alone the ostracisation of all your allies. Canada, for feck's sake. You had a long, healthy relationship, but no, not now. That has just gone sour. Turned on a sixpence, it's gone. That relationship is going to be it's going to take a very long time to heal. And the same with many other, countries, your allies. Including the United Kingdom. We didn't get no preferential treatment because we had a so-called special relationship, which was a load of bullshit, quite frankly. No. Look what's going on in Mexico, for instance. Shyborn, the Mexican president, she's pretty much told, as it is, really, effectively telling us that Donald Trump's a fucking idiot. And he lies. Like he was lying about China. Oh, yes, I've been in constant talks with China. Oh, we've got a deal very, very close. And China, excuse me, we're over here and we haven't spoke at all. Just lie after lie after lie. If you cannot trust your president to speak just basic truths, you're lost. And if you trust him no matter what he says, you're lost anyway. You're doomed, in fact. So here we're here again, aren't we? We're bloody well here again. Sort of hurtling towards economic disaster. Not just the United States, but this is going to affect us all. This is like lemmings just hurtling off a fucking cliff. And guess who's driving the bloody car? Donald J. Trump. President. Dum-dum. Well, the man's economic strategy is like setting your own house on fire and congratulating yourself. Yeah, good job anyway, for the warmth. This is just tantamount madness. It's deeply frustrating, the stupidity that we all have to endure because a few people just didn't understand. They're just clearly uneducated. You don't need to be educated. They're just stupid. Let's be honest. They're just fucking idiots. I'm sorry for you, but you voted for Donald Trump. You really do not know one end of a fucking whatever from another. I don't know. I really feel for those people who could see the catastrophe and know what's coming. Know how tough it's going to get. Know for the fact that your pensions are screwed at the moment, how things are. It's madness, absolute madness. So you've got tariffs fucking everywhere, like Oprah Winfrey giving away iPads. Yeah, you get a tariff. You get a tariff. Except, instead of free gadgets, it's just crippling costs. Crippling costs. Slapped on to pretty much everything, from mobile phones to bloody shoelaces. And the packaging. The farmers are complaining. I'll talk about the small farmers, you know, like the menageries and all that, well, relatively small farmers. They're complaining because farmers who voted for Donald Trump are complaining because they can't get the packaging. It's gone up by they've paid like an extra 300% a year on their packaging. So it's gone up by. Now Xi'an, who Xi'an or Sean, you know, the fashion retailer, online retailer, you buy stuff online. Yeah, I've never used it. A bit like Temu or whatever. Well, they've already put their prices up by 350%. 350%. How many of you buy, I don't know, your fast fashion from Shein? How many of you are YouTubers, even influencers, you know, are going to be screwed by this? I'm sure there's a pretty girl somewhere who's buy their clothes and try it on in front of the camera. Oh, look at this, it's so lovely. You know, you wouldn't see me doing that. They wouldn't want to either. Can't imagine me in a dress. No, blimey. All my balls will come out one side, they will. Pinching. Oh, blimey, like a pair of tangerines. Anyway. Now, Donald Trump has basically engineered a one-man trade war so convoluted, even he can't keep track of where, of where he's meant to, who he's actually meant to be punishing. He doesn't know himself. He is obviously of some sort of cognitive decline, and he doesn't read the room. He was asked some questions while on the flight, to his golf course. You know, that was on Friday. There was some pertinent questions. He said, "Oh, I didn't know." You know, shrugged it off. You know, "Oh, did he?" You know, first I've heard of this. Well, that's 2 days ago. For Christ's sake, a load of people got killed in an apartment because Vladimir Putin decided to use ballistic missiles on a Ukrainian apartment with people in it. You know, just that sounds like a war crime to me. He shrugged his shoulders, whatever. And then yesterday he decided, a bit of a snooze while the boat has been chucked in the ground, you know. Whatever they did to him. And he wore a blue suit, not black. He's so disrespectful. He goes on about Zelensky and not wearing a suit in the White House. But all I saw was a man not wearing a suit, and a suit without a man inside. That's all I saw. That man, Donald J. Trump, has zero morals. It's all about him. You've only got to look at his past history, and there's a good site if you want to look. It's called Trump.org. And it's got loads of stuff on there. About his past, stories about his past, information and evidence and stuff, things that he's been up to. And a lot of it's just shocking sex crime type stuff with kids, basically. Underage. Especially his time as Charlie Epstein. He's an evil piece of fucking work. And people voted for him and thought it was a good idea then for for the President of the United States. The same people who seem to think that there's there's a load of children underneath New York somewhere where they're drinking the blood of the babies and that, some paedophilia ring or something stupid. There's QAnon crap, you know, the same people. And they still exist. Some of our own friends in the UK, my dear wife went back and one of her best friends was going on about this fucking underground thing in New York, QAnon. Carolyn said, she said to me, she messaged me. So I didn't ask much about it. I didn't want to even find out about it because I was probably rubbish, she says. It is rubbish, it's QAnon, I go. It's just another conspiracy theory. Absolute bollocks. Just like the royal family are lizards, but there might be some truth in that one. Anyway, yeah. So, the thing is, what is going to be the end result of all this? Isn't just the fact that you're not going to get what you need. No, it won't be the fact that you're going to have less food on your shelves, or less gadgets, and less this and less that. No, it's going to be stagflation. Because when you can't get stuff, when you can't get the materials to do your work, when you can't get your building materials to do your work, build those houses and stuff like that, you have a situation when you got the work is there to be done, but you haven't got the materials, or even the staff, because you've sent them all, a lot of your staff back over the bloody border somewhere, or into El Salvador prison, a gulag. So you got the staff, you haven't got the staff, you haven't got the materials, you've got stagflation, because you got the work, you got no turnover, because you can't get the work done. Plain and simple. So you end up with a situation, you have a high inflation, low growth, and you have nothing to show for it. It's a word from this. There was thought before, in the early 60s, 50s, 60s, 50s, that stagflation can't actually happen, and it did. I thought we buried it in the 70s alongside flared trousers and disco balls. But no, it's back. It's back because there's feckin' baby you got in the Whitehouse. God's sake. I really feel for those people who didn't vote for this, and I really feel, I've worried about people. I can't help it, this is who I am. I don't like to see people suffer, right? Maybe I'm woke, I don't know. But I don't like to see people suffer. And I don't like to see people hurt or anything like that. Even people who voted for this shit, I don't want them to get hurt, but I say, well, maybe you deserve a little bit more than they did. Since they didn't put that cross in the wrong box, if you know what I mean. So, like stagflation, that's where you're heading. High prices, stagnant wages, and an economy crawling along like a wounded tortoise in the desert. Yes, of despair. You can almost smell the burnt polyester. And the kicker. Well, I've done that already. It could have all been avoided. It could have been avoided. All this shit in hindsight could have been avoided. The economy was fine. You had one of the fastest growing economies. Definitely in the West. You were pulling out of that fucking pandemic. Right or not with Biden. The GDP was growing. It was looking pretty darn good. But not now. Bloody hell. So, okay, it might not have been perfect, but it was growing. And instead of just not touching anything, it could just left it all to do its thing. By leaving it alone. Yeah, but we laid the rails. Oh, the economic rails are all laid. They could have just sat back and we get on with something else, couldn't they? But no, like a feckin' toddler, because Biden did it. Like a toddler in a crystal shop, bull in a Chinese shop, more like it. An orange bull. And our feet, slapping tariffs. Yeah, Trump was sort of kind of decided, I suppose, like, speaking with another analogy, slapping tariffs on our feet and call it dancing. Yeah, that's a bit of a stupid analogy, really, wasn't it? Oh, anyway. Now, businesses don't know whether to build factories or build bunkers, quite frankly. And the cost of living is skyrocketing. It's going up. Cost of eggs. How much are you paying for your eggs at the moment? And workers, well, they're all getting fucking sacked or exported to El Salvador, get their heads shaved and all that, and getting probed. America first, eh? Right, it's got fuck all to do with America first. Nothing whatsoever. Trump first. And he can't even get that right. See, he's not rebuilding American industry, is he? He's disabling it. disabling it with the finesse of a drunk elephant on roller skates. And when it all goes to hell in the handcart, he'll blame the Fed, he'll blame China for their tariffs, you know, in retaliation. Or feckin' windmills, killing the birds or something crazy like that. Anyone but the orange-faced architect of this economic bin fire. So welcome to the old second term, I suppose, folks. Hope you like the sticker-covered menus, because this is stagflation. Right, well, revival to Trump's greatest hits. And it's going to be a very, very long encore. And I am very worried because it will affect us all. It already started, isn't it? It's already started. Oh dear me, let me just go and hang myself somewhere. I've had enough. I really have. Anyway, what do you reckon? Have you had enough of this shit? Please, leave in the comments down below. No, well, I'm not going to hang myself. That's a different channel. Yeah, crikey. Anyway, if you want to support the channel, you can do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee, and the links are down below. There they are. And check out my other videos and share them if you'd be most kind. But, oh my God, what a mess, eh? What an absolute mess. Fortunately, people voted for it. They call it democracy. So it just says what it is. Toodaloo.